Hello and welcome everyone on my channel, the Garden City Project. My name is Greg Holstein and I'm a landscape architect. In this episode, I'm going to talk about agriculture and its effect and its influence on the development of cities. And as you well know, like in one of my first episodes, I was telling you that the rise of agriculture made it possible for cities to develop, that cities could exist out of agriculture. And if we didn't have agriculture today, we would probably still live in caves and collect our food in the nature. So when we plan the future city, we always need also to think about agriculture. We need to think about how we are going to integrate agriculture not only in the city but in the whole landscape. And that is what this video is about. I want to have a short look at the past, and I want to have a look in the future, what we are going to do in the future with these new inventions in agriculture. Now we are going to have a short overview about agriculture in general. Over the thousands of years of human history, we have cultivated many fruits and grains, and we have also cultivated a lot of different farm animals like livestock. And we have made it better and better. We have improved it over the thousands of years. Like the food production has always been increasing over the centuries, but it has gone very slow over the first thousands of years of human history. But in recent years, it has become much faster and faster. Like in the industrialization, like we made it possible to produce much more food on a much larger scale with new fertilizers and with improved pesticides and everything like that. We have improved the food production at this time. The industrialization of food production had also an impact of the amount of land we needed to produce food. Like through the industrialization of the food production, like with the implementation of fertilizer and pesticides, it was possible to produce much more food with much less land area. Furthermore, with the implementation of machines in agriculture, we could increase the production even more, and we needed much less workforces. Like people who worked in the agricultural sector could now then work in other sectors and earn more money. So it was an improvement. And it was also an improvement that we had a lot of land areas which we didn't need anymore for the production of food and could now be used for other kind of things. The food production has increased so much that we nowadays don't have any food shortages, at least in the Western world. And now you might ask yourself, oh, but this is not true. A lot of people are dying of hunger even nowadays, millions of people per year. And yes, that's absolutely true. But this is happening for a very most part in the third world. And there are a lot of political and economical problems. There are a lot of corruption there, and that's a really bad thing. But from a technical point of view, we would be able to feed the whole world with the modern agricultural techniques. But it's mostly an economical and a political problem, why a lot of people have to die of hunger in the world. Influence on city development. Now we come to the very important question: what is the effect of agriculture? What is the influence of agriculture on the city development? So the main benefit from modern agriculture, considering city development, is the space efficiency. We have much more space now what we can use for other things. We can build buildings, we can build houses with this new space, we can build parks, we can build natural reserves, because our agriculture needs less space to produce the same amount of food. I also have to admit that another major factor plays part in this, and that's the global trade. With global trade, we are able to ship thousands of tons of grains from one end of the world to the other one. And that changes the world, of course. And this global trade is a massive benefit for mankind, for humanity. It's because we are now able to use the fertile regions on the world to produce massive amount of food and distribute it all around the world where it's needed. Well, I know what you think now. Practically, this doesn't always work perfectly. As I told you before, there are a lot of political and economical problems all around the world where so many countries are living in hunger. So many people are living in hunger around the world. But the problem is not global trade. The problem is always how we do it. Because global trade, in fact, is a good thing. The benefits clearly override all the disadvantages that it has, at least in my opinion. So, in conclusion, we can say that we are, thanks to modern agriculture and thanks to global trade, we are now able to create our cities, to create our landscape beyond the needs of agriculture. And that's also kind of luxury, and we can only do that because we are not suffering from hunger, at least in the Western world, as I was telling you before. And there are a lot of countries that have still the problem that many people are suffering from hunger. And of course, those countries have other problems than we have, and they have to make other prioritizing. They have to prioritize agriculture because they need to fight the hunger problem. But luckily, we don't have that in the Western world anymore. And so we can build other things on agriculture. We can use the land areas that were used for agriculture for other kind of things we can do now today. Agriculture in the future. As you may well know, in many different sectors, we are inventing new technologies from time to time. And that's the same in agriculture. There are a lot of technologies that will change the world there. But there's one technology which, in my opinion, stands clearly out. What technology am I talking about? It's the technology to produce meat in laboratory. And you might ask yourself, what is so special about that? And is this even good or healthy or anything? And well, I can't answer all this question, of course, because I can't say for sure if this will happen very quickly and everything will be good about that. But if it happens, if we are able to produce meat in the laboratory that has the same quality and the same health benefits as normal meat has, for example, then this would be a huge, massive invention, because nowadays we use a lot of land mass, massive amounts of land and resources we use just to raise cattle and to raise cows and all kind of livestock. We need a lot of resources to produce meat nowadays. And if we are able one day to produce it in a laboratory, as I said before, with the same quality and everything, then this would be a massive benefit, and it would give us much more possibilities what we can do in the future with all this land. Anyway, I'm not a specialist about laboratory meat, how this works in detail. I'm not a specialist about that. I want to focus on how to develop future cities with new inventions, how we're gonna deal with new inventions in the future. So in the future, if we have this technology and it works well, we have a lot of land we can use now for other kind of things. We can use this land instead of growing feed for livestock. We can make gardens, we can make football fields, we can create new natural reserves to conserve plants and animals. We can also create new gardens like ornamental gardens, but also vegetable gardens, because if we grow vegetable, we need much less space than to raise cattle and stuff like that. And so we can use this space for much better things in the future, and we can make cities more livable. We can bring life quality to the cities with building new parks and new green spaces for the people. In my opinion, those new green spaces we can create with this land would bring us much more life quality than like the grain fields we need to feed our livestock. But don't understand me wrong. I don't say that in the future there will be no pastures with cows and cattle on it. There will be nothing like that. Of course it will also be. There will also be like pastures and meadows with cows and sheep and everything. But it won't be in such a massive, large scale as it is today in some countries. Like in the US, for example, they have massive, big cow farms, like in an industrial scale. I hope that in the future, with these new technologies, we won't have any more animal mass production. That would be great. And I think that would not only be a benefit for all the animals that live nowadays in this mass production, but also for us humans, because we have more spaces to develop. We can use these new spaces to create green spaces, to create new things. So, this is the end of my video. I hope you could enjoy it. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, just press the like button, leave me a comment here, subscribe to my channel, and see you next time. Bye.